Most truck owners assume a Nissan Frontier is worn out once it crosses 200,000 miles. That is not usually true. A 2007 Frontier bought brand new by a Chicago delivery driver crossed 1 million miles in January 2020, still running its original factory engine and transmission casing. The one thing that actually determines whether a Frontier survives to 200,000 miles comes down to a single question. Does that generation keep transmission fluid and engine coolant completely separate? Get that wrong, and the repair bill can exceed the truck's value. Here is a full breakdown of the first, second, and third generation Frontier. Every major engine, every factory defect, every recall, ending with a clear ranking of which generation is most likely to cross 200,000 miles without a major overhaul. Start with the oldest platform. The first generation Frontier, the D22, ran from 1998 to 2004, and one of its two engines has a rubber timing belt that has to be replaced every 60,000 miles or the engine destroys itself. The D22 replaced the aging Nissan hardbody and was built during an era of simple analog mechanical engineering. No complex electronics, just proven cast iron blocks, basic electronic fuel injection, and a traditional ladder frame chassis. Two engines were offered in North America. The 2.4-liter KA24DE four-cylinder uses a dual overhead camshaft design with a cast iron block and aluminum head, and critically, it runs a dual timing chain rather than a belt, which removes the risk of a snapped belt causing catastrophic engine failure. The upgraded engine, the 3.3-liter VG33 EV6, is a single overhead camshaft, 12-valve design, and it is where things get riskier. This engine uses a rubber timing belt that must be replaced every 60,000 miles, or roughly 100,000 kilometers, without exception. Because the VG33E is an interference engine, a failed belt causes the valves to strike the pistons directly, destroying the cylinder head entirely. There is no partial failure here. It is either maintained on schedule or it results in a full engine rebuild. Before we get into the D22's weak points, if you want a more in-depth look into how your pickup truck can last 200,000, 300,000, or even 500,000 miles, this ebook reveals the exact maintenance secrets and brand-specific strategies that every smart pickup truck owner should know. If you want to check it out, the link is down in the description below. Beyond the timing belt, the D22 has three well-documented weak points. Both the KA24DE and VG33E suffer from cracked cast iron exhaust manifolds caused by repeated thermal cycling, which leads to exhaust leaks, cold start ticking, and inaccurate oxygen sensor readings that force the engine into an overly rich fuel mixture. On VG33E models specifically, the NOx sensor is mounted deep in the engine valley beneath the lower intake manifold. Heat exposure degrades it over time, and once it fails, it falsely signals detonation, causing the computer to retard ignition timing, which kills acceleration and fuel economy. Because reaching that sensor requires pulling the intake manifold, many high-mileage owners instead relocate it to an accessible bracket on the intake plenum, rather than repeat the labor-intensive repair. The most serious issue with the D22, though, has nothing to do with the engine. Severe frame corrosion is the leading cause of retirement for this generation. In regions that use road salt and chemical de-icers, moisture and debris collect inside the boxed steel frame rails and corrode the metal from the inside out, particularly around the rear leaf spring shackles and bed support mounts. That kind of structural rust routinely forces D22 trucks off the road long before the engine or manual transmission ever shows a problem. In dry climates, this is far less of an issue, but in the Rust Belt, it is the single biggest limiting factor on this generation's lifespan. Moving into the second generation, the D40 ran for 16 years, from 2005 through 2021, one of the longest continuous production runs in the industry. Because Nissan made real engineering changes partway through, this generation splits cleanly into two eras. Early D40 from 2005 to 2010, and late D40 from 2011 onward. The early D40 introduced a genuine step up in capability, a 4-liter VQ40D EV6, and a fully boxed frame that gave the truck significantly more power and towing capacity than the outgoing D22. But two serious factory defects define this early period. The first, and by far the most damaging, is what mechanics nicknamed the strawberry milkshake of death. On automatic transmission models built from 2005 through 2010, the transmission fluid cooler is built directly into the bottom tank of the engine radiator, sitting right next to the engine coolant. Over time, thermal fatigue and corrosion break down the internal wall separating those two fluids. Pressurized coolant and transmission fluid cross-contaminate and form a pink, milkshake-like emulsion that circulates through the transmission. That mixture dissolves the organic friction material on the clutch plates and short-circuits the submerged transmission control module. The result is a completely destroyed transmission, and the repair cost on these models frequently exceeds what the truck is even worth at high mileage. This single defect is the leading reason unmodified early D40 automatics fail to reach 200,000 miles. The second issue is timing chain guide wear on the early VQ40DE. The primary and secondary timing chains were manufactured with sharp stamping burrs on the links, and those rough edges abraded the plastic shoes on the timing chain tensioners. Eventually, the chain cuts through the plastic entirely, causing metal-to-metal contact and a distinct whining noise that mimics a supercharger. Left unaddressed, the resulting chain slack can allow the timing to jump, throwing off valve timing. Here is where the story gets more interesting, because manual transmission models from this same era tell a completely different story. That Chicago area delivery driver's 2007 Frontier was a rear-wheel drive, 2.5-liter 4-cylinder QR25DE with a 5-speed manual, meaning it never touched the automatic's fluid-mixing radiator design in the first place. His maintenance log is detailed. Oil changes were performed personally every 10,000 miles without exception. The factory clutch assembly survived to 801,000 miles before needing replacement. The timing chain was swapped purely as a preventive measure at 700,000 miles, with zero prior chain breakage or valve timing failure. The radiator and alternator each lasted roughly 450,000 miles. The water pump made it to about 600,000 miles, and even the driver's seat cushion held up to 500,000 miles before the foam degraded. That truck crossed 1 million miles in January 2020. What this proves is that when the transmission fluid is isolated from the coolant entirely, the core crankshaft tolerances, manual gearbox, and structural mounts of the D40 platform are capable of running well beyond 1 million miles with nothing more than routine maintenance. Starting late in the 2010 model year and fully rolled out for 2011, Nissan redesigned the radiator to permanently isolate the transmission cooling circuit from the engine coolant loop, eliminating the strawberry milkshake failure for good. At the same time, Nissan switched to smooth stamped timing chains and upgraded plastic tensioner guides on the VQ40DE. This is why the 2011 through 2019 models, equipped with the port-injected VQ40DE V6 or QR25DE 4-cylinder, represent the strongest era in Frontier history. These late D40 models, whether equipped with the VQ40DE V6 or the QR25DE 4-cylinder, routinely surpass 200,000 and even 300,000 miles, with nothing more than oil changes, spark plugs, and basic fluid services. Two smaller issues affect every D40 regardless of year. The rear axle differential, breather on the C200K and heavy-duty M226 axles, is a simple floating check valve that clogs easily with rust, mud, and road grime. When it clogs, gear oil has nowhere to expand under thermal load, and internal pressure forces that oil past the axle seals, contaminating the parking brake shoes and washing lubricant out of the wheel bearings, which eventually leads to bearing seizure. A differential breather relocation kit, routing a fuel line up into the taillight cavity, permanently solves this for roughly $35. The second is the plastic heater core fittings at the firewall. After around 100,000 miles of heat cycling, these plastic connectors become brittle and can fracture without warning, draining coolant rapidly and risking overheating. Swapping the factory plastic inlet for an aftermarket billet aluminum fitting at around $40 removes that risk permanently. For under $100 in preventive parts, a late D40 owner can eliminate nearly every remaining design weakness in the platform, which is a major reason this era has one of the best high-mileage track records of any mid-sized truck on the market. Moving into the third generation, the D41 launched for 2022, though its powertrain actually debuted in 2020. It features a 310 horsepower, 3.8-liter V6 and a 9-speed automatic. While powerful, it introduced two specific long-term challenges. First, it transitioned to direct fuel injection, without port injectors spraying gasoline over the intake valves to wash away crankcase oil vapor. Hard carbon builds up on the intake valves over 60,000 to 100,000 miles, requiring an aftermarket catch can or periodic media blasting to prevent misfires and lost compression. Second, early 9-speed models from 2020 through 2023 were hit with a major recall covering over 200,000 trucks due to a transmission parking PAL defect that could prevent park from engaging, causing potential vehicle rollaways. It's worth putting some hard numbers next to each of these generations because the difference in ownership cost is significant. On the D22, bulletproofing the exhaust manifolds runs between $150 and $300, while a full timing belt kit on the V6 costs around $400. On the early D40, a radiator swap to fix cross-contamination runs about $200, but a proper timing chain update can run $1,500 or more. Compare that to the late D40, where the breather kit and billet heater inlet together cost less than $100 combined, and the gap in long-term ownership cost becomes obvious. Transmission architecture also shifted significantly across these generations, and it's worth understanding what options were even available. The D22 offered a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. The D40, across both its early and late years, expanded to a 5 or 6-speed manual alongside a 5-speed automatic, giving buyers the option to sidestep the automatic's early cooling issues entirely by choosing a manual gearbox. The D41 eliminated the manual option altogether, offering only the new 9-speed Jatco automatic, which means there is no equivalent manual bypass available on the newest trucks the way there was on the D22 and D40. Serviceability is another area where these generations differ substantially, and it directly affects how easy and affordable ownership becomes at high mileage. The D22 has an excellent DIY rating thanks to its simple analog engine bay with minimal electronics. The D40, in both its early and late years, carries a high DIY rating, with an open engine layout and widely documented fixes across a massive owner community. The D41, by contrast, only rates as moderate for DIY work, because its high-pressure direct injection fuel system and advanced CAN bus electronics require more specialized tools and diagnostic knowledge than any prior Frontier engine. Looking at the probability of actually reaching 200,000 miles across all 4 eras tells a clear story on its own. The D22 sits at moderate to high, conditional on frame rust and belt maintenance being handled properly. The early D40 sits at low to moderate, dragged down almost entirely by unmodified automatics falling victim to the strawberry milkshake failure. The late D40 sits at extremely high, the strongest survival rate of any Frontier generation on record, and the D41 currently sits at moderate to unproven, simply because long-term data on the direct injection engine is still being collected in real time. Stepping back across all 3 generations, one pattern stands out above everything else. Whenever a design keeps transmission fluid and engine coolant in 2 fully separate systems, that drivetrain reliably survives well past 200,000 miles. Whenever those fluids share one radiator, That has historically been the single biggest point of catastrophic failure on this truck, full stop. There is also a clear trade-off between efficiency and longevity. Direct injection on the D41 improved horsepower and fuel economy, but it removed the natural valve cleaning benefit that let older port-injected Frontiers rack up high mileage on nothing more than routine oil changes. And the D40's unusually long 16-year production run wasn't just a cost-saving decision for Nissan. It gave engineers real time to identify and permanently resolve the SMOD radiator defect and the timing chain issue, while building up one of the largest aftermarket parts networks in the mid-size truck segment, making these low-cost preventive fixes easy to find today. Based on everything covered here, the clear winner is the late second-generation D40, built from 2011 through 2019, with the port-injected VQ40DE V6 or QR25DE 4-cylinder. By that point, Nissan had permanently fixed the SMOD radiator defect, upgraded the timing chains, and paired it with a proven port-injected engine that keeps intake valves clean for the life of the truck. Add in less than $100 of preventive parts, and this era stands as one of the most dependable, cost-effective, high-mileage mid-size trucks ever built. If this comparison helped you understand what to look for, subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns like this one.